Thank you for joining us for the 2021 Symposium for University Research and Creative Expression, or SOURCE. I am Kevin Archer, the Dean of the School of Graduate Studies and Research at Central, and I welcome you because while we may be virtual, we are gathered today because we are still CWU together. To start us off, as a leader at CWU, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the land on which Central Washington University resides. It is the historic home of the federally recognized Confederated Tribes and Bands of the Yakima Nation. The Yakima people remain committed stewards of this land, cherishing it and protecting it as instructed by elders through generations. We are honored and grateful to be here today on their traditional lands. We give thanks to the legacy of the original people, their lives, and their descendants. We also honor and thank those who have worked so hard this year toward continually increasing diversity, equity, and inclusion for our entire campus community. All of us here are proud that CWU remains the most diverse public university in the state of Washington, and we believe that this diversity brings so many more great ideas together, like those that we see at Source event. This event is a showcase of the scholarship and creative works that are made possible by the supportive teaching and learning environment at Central, and I honor all those faculty and staff who have worked toward this end. With that introduction, I would like to welcome the representative from the CWU College of Business who will introduce us to today's guest speaker. After the main speaker, we will have a presentation by the CWU Orchestra, one of the many performance groups from Central that have managed to find a way to succeed in this virtual environment. Thank you for joining us today, and welcome to Source 2021.
Thank you, Dean Archer, for that welcome. Good afternoon, and welcome to the College of Business Day at Source 2021. Research and intellectual discovery take many forms within the College of Business. Our students conduct industry consulting projects in areas such as Lean Six Sigma and consumer research. Our students participate in many nonprofit projects, supporting organizations with their research abilities. Our students participate in volunteer projects. For example, our accounting students do voluntary income tax preparation for low-income individuals. Our students participate in many case competitions, including the Boeing Northwest Regional Case Competition, which Central has won over half of the years in that competition. Our students participate in business plan development. More than 40 businesses have started out of the CWU entrepreneurship minor. And our students also participate in traditional academic research. Many faculty work with students on academic research projects, preparing students for graduate programs. Someone who knows all this hard work will bring her strength after graduation is Jadveer Gill. Jadveer Gill was a student at Central and graduated in 2019 with her degree in psychology and a minor in human resource management. She is currently a PhD student at Seattle Pacific University studying industrial organizational psychology, and she was a former McNair Scholar. Earlier this year, Jadveer and Professor of Management James Avey published their research, How Does Abusive Supervision Hurt Employees? The Role of Positive Psychological Capital, in the International Journal of Productivity and Performance Management. We can see that Jadveer exemplifies where scholarship at Central can take you. Thank you, Jadveer, for joining us today, and we look forward to the message you will share.
Hi everyone, my name is Jadveer Gill, and I'm part of the 2019 graduating class at Central Washington University. Currently, I'm a second-year PhD student at Seattle Pacific University studying industrial organizational psychology. First of all, I wanted to give all the staff, faculty, volunteers, and students a shout out for all the work you do for Source. It's such a great platform for our CW students to display their passion projects. Since graduating Central, I've published 2 articles, most recently helping create a scale that measures wide support in predicting racial minorities' feelings of inclusion and retention. I've been employed at Limeade as a researcher intern to do research on best practices for employee well-being, engagement, and DE&I. And most recently, I just got hired to be a people analytics intern at Community Solutions, a nonprofit whose goal is to eradicate homelessness in the United States. I was asked to record this video to discuss how my experience at Central shaped and inspired my current life. And the short answer is, without sounding too cliche, is I could not have been where I am currently without CWU. So I guess I'll start from the beginning of my CWU journey. I knew I wanted to major in psychology going into freshman year. I took Psych 101 during fall quarter with Dr. Radke, who aka is a badass, and reassured me that psychology is exactly what I wanted to pursue as a career. But I also realized that I did not want to become a therapist, which made me kind of go into an existential crisis. Because what other careers can you possibly have in psychology besides being a therapist? Well, it turns out there's a lot. I did a quick Google search and industrial organizational psychology popped up, and it said it's the scientific study of the workplace. IO practitioners apply research that improves the well-being and performance of people and the organizations that employ them. Now, I honestly did not know what the hell that meant at the time, but it sounded really cool, and I've made that goal my ever since. And honestly, CWU has been so instrumental in helping me achieve the goal my 18-year-old self placed. It started off with my sophomore year, where I began to take core classes within the psych major. And I was such a baby. I didn't know what ANOVAs or regressions or random assignment meant. Yet I had the audacity to ask Dr. Buchanan if I can assist with her research, and she welcomed me into her lab with open arms. And I truly think that shows the level of patience and commitment the CWU faculty has for their students. I was able to add so much to my resume with Dr. Buchanan's lab. I presented a research at 2 psychological regional conferences in Long Beach and Sacramento, which, by the way, CWU fully funded for. I learned so much about research methods, research design, data collection, and my interest in science grew even further. One of my absolute favorite stories to tell is going into my junior year. I wanted to present research at PsyOp, which is a national conference specifically for IO psychology. And I knew it would have been a great opportunity to network with grad schools there. And Dr. Buchanan was fully for it, but we realized we needed a full 20-page manuscript in 3 weeks, not just an abstract paragraph submission like the regional conferences. Dr. Buchanan and I exchanged our edits to each other, and she gave me her very last edit the day after she gave birth to her daughter. She didn't have to do that, but she truly invested in me, so shout out to Dr. Buchanan. A little on my personal background. The highest level of education my parents have achieved is high school. Beyond that, I come from generations worth of ancestors who were farmers in India, having no business in going to school. In fact, both sides of my grandparents don't know how to read or write. They're illiterate. And we know from research that children from these backgrounds often have a harder time climbing the social ladder. So one of the best decisions I've ever made was joining the McNair Scholars Program. It's a program at Central that supports first-generation and minority college students who want to go into grad school. Dr. Lucinda Cornell, who's the director of the program, and Dr. Pam Navarro played such a key role into me getting into grad school. They held GRE boot camps, paid for my GREs, read over and over again my personal statement, took me to a PhD submission boot camp in Pullman, provided an office space to do my work, and most importantly, provided that emotional support students go through during that application process. Also, one of the best things that came out of the program was more research experience. Along with the psych major, I also minored in human resource management. I was tasked by the McNair Scholars Program to find an advisor to do research with. At the time, I was taking HRM 301 with Dr. Avey. I don't know if you've all noticed, but Dr. Avey's pictures are displayed around campus, crediting him for all the research he's contributed to in the business world, so it was a no-brainer to ask him. But it also meant he was a busy guy. In fact, after class, when I asked him, I had to give my elevator speech to him on the way to the circ so he can eat lunch simultaneously because he was in between meetings. Very busy guy, which is why I was so grateful he was on board. I learned the entire research process from him start to finish, building a literature review, building a theoretical model, collecting and analyzing data on MTurk, how to present the findings in an adequate manner, which we did in DC and Pasadena, how to network with others, and the process of submitting to journals. And of course, conversations that you don't really have in the classroom, such as the intersection of faith, science, and business. All of that experience, all those experiences were invaluable and that I learned from Dr. Avey. And I'm overjoyed and proud to say that our research that we did on abusive supervision and psychological capital ended up being published in Journal of Productivity and Performance Management just a couple months ago. Lastly, I wanted to mention Center for Leadership and Community Engagement, aka CLCE. I was employed with that office as a leadership programmer for about 3 years. That's where my interest in leadership truly began. I had the opportunity to program so many amazing events like Amazing Race, Late Night Leadership, Nelson Mandela and Cesar Chavez Weeks, and the annual Leadership Conference. Liz and Joanne, my supervisors, also gave me autonomy to also pursue my own projects like Give Voice, a documentary I did with help of film students to capture first-generation college students' experiences. And of course, there's Andre, the director of the program. He truly believed in me more than I believed in myself. The pep talks he gave me while I anxiously waited for grad programs was everything. I think he filled out about more than 15 letters of recommendation for me on time and was always happy to do it. So thank you, Andre. These are just some of the highlights of CW that made me into the doctoral student I am today. To be time conscious, I left out so many other great opportunities that I experienced, such as study abroad, orientation leader, psychology club, and the president and founder of the South Asian Student Association. If I were to stress anything to current students, it would be to take advantage of everything that CW has to offer you. Take advantage of the various programs, funding, the small class sizes, and most importantly, the faculty and staff at this university who truly care about your success. Please feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm more than happy to talk in depth about IO psychology. Thank you so much for listening. Happy Source Week.
Wow, that was a great performance. Thank you to our performers. Thank you also to our other speakers here tonight as we have come together for CWU Happy Hour. I am Dr. Brandy Wiegers, the Director of the Office of Undergraduate Research, and I want to take this moment to say thank you for participating as we have this last presentation of the evening. In that thank you, I want to thank both the viewers and also the students, the faculty, and the community members that have all made this year's Source possible. It was a hard year, and everyone went above and beyond in creating their Source presentations. So thank you. Thank you also for viewing tonight. If this is something that you would like to support more of, we are encouraging you to take and visit CW Source and give to the CW Source Summer Research Funds. These funds will take and support students, both hours for research as well as supplies for research, and all funds that are donated will go directly to support the summer work. Right now, we've already received donations from across the country, including donations as low as $5. So if you are able and are interested in supporting more student work like this, we ask that you give. We also ask that you just check out the other CW Source presentations. If you visit CW Source, you'll see that we have virtual presentations available all week. We will also continue to have happy hours on that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night. To see more, you can visit CW Source on Facebook, on Twitter, and we hope that you will take and share with us your thoughts about this year's events. Thank you so much for everything you do to support undergraduate research. Have a great night. CW together.